So when Lelouch was staring at this computer, he figured out who the people of Kyoto could be. He narrowed it down to like 10 different people. He said like it must be these 10 people, and eventually I will and use my Geass on them or whatever. But he got the identity down to 10 people. And the reason why this is important, why I'm bringing this up, is that when I was discussing Lelouch defeating Light in a debate, and that's why this is actually kind of irrelevant, or why it's relevant. I mentioned how Lelouch doesn't have any detective skills or never shows much deductive reasoning in this way, but that's not true because he figured out who the Kyoto members are. And I'm sure if I watch the show, there's probably more examples of this. So could Lelouch figure out through the same detective stuff he did here, Light's identity? Probably. And that's a big mistake on my part because I forgot he did this. Now, obviously, it's not the biggest feat of the entire story, but it mattered a lot because since he figured out Taiso's Kirihara's identity, he found his whole resume, he revealed his whole identity. I mean, he didn't just figure out this guy was in Kyoto. He figured out that this guy, his entire backstory, his resume, everything he did up to this point, including with a double agent, he figured the whole thing out through detective work. So if Lelouch had to do the detective work to figure out who Light was, he probably could. So that's a mistake on my part. Lelouch could definitely figure out who Light was because this was definitely the same situation, right? I mean, he knew Kyoto existed, but he had no idea who it could be, and he narrowed it down pretty well. Now, we don't know exactly how Lelouch figured this out, right? That's, I guess, the part that they don't explain. But because he did figure it out, we can infer he could figure out Light's identity too as Kiddo. Just wanted to mention that. I thought it was a correction on my part, so I do apologize on that. And here's the important part. He says, and I'm even going to get to the, I'll pull the transcript so I don't misquote him. Will there be sacrifices? Not just soldiers, but the innocent as well. And the reason why that's important is because when he first declared his whole Black Knights, he specifically mentioned how they don't target innocent people. He said, even early on, like episode 4, we're not going to target innocents. We're going to leave those people alone. He said to everyone in the train car, I have the exact quote here. You should know your enemy. It is not people, but Britannia itself. It's a war you must wage, but not on the innocent. Take up your sword, fight for justice. So the point I'm trying to make here is that Lelouch said early on with the Black Knights, we are not going to hurt civilians, innocent people. Now he's saying we're going to have to hurt innocent people to end this war, or to win this war. This is where Lelouch goes from like a hero to an anti-hero. Because at one end he's saying that, yes, I'm, we're not going to hurt innocent people. Now he's like, you know what, we probably are going to have to hurt innocent people now. And so I thought it was interesting that he changed on a dime like that. I guess he had no choice considering what happened to Shirley's father. And maybe the truth is he always felt this way, but he didn't really, again, until C2 talked to him about it, he didn't really understand that he was actually hurting innocent people no matter what he was doing. That could be why he told Colin this. But I thought it was interesting that he went from someone who was saying we won't hurt innocent people to now he's saying we're going to have to hurt innocent people. Anywho, so Zaku takes out Lelouch. And Lelouch does something really stupid here, which doesn't surprise me because he's like the worst Nightmare Frame pilot in the series. But he basically took the Slash Harkin. He fired it straight into the air, I guess into some cart, and he blasted himself off in the air at high speeds. And all Suzaku had to do was knock him, just interfere. And he flew, what you see here, he smashed against the crates. I'm thinking the whole time, that was your big plan, your big brain plan to escape from Suzaku. You were going to send yourself flying really high in the air, because, nothing ever happens when you're high in the air, right? And Suzaku basically nearly killed him. Really stupid stuff on Zero's part. That was really stupid. Darlton got thrown right under the bus in R1's finale. Yeah, it was really depressing. It's very sad too because if you guys know, I'll get the photo out here. Okay. So the very first film, hold on. So you watch very carefully. Okay, watch carefully. Euphemia, she wanted to stop the Lelouch being exiled. It's too bad she couldn't do anything. There's Clovis, by the way. There's Nadia, and there's Maribel. I guess Schneizel wasn't present here, which is weird. But anyhow, if we So when Lucius exiled, yeah, Euphemia's really upset. It actually kind of hurts. But during the exile, watch very carefully. That's Darlton, by the way. See Darlton here? He is really upset. And that's Jeremiah, by the way, upset as well. And the fact that Luke treated both like crap in the story really upsets me because both these guys loved the royal family. They were very loyal to them. And like Lucius' treatment to Darlton was just disgusting. Look at this. They didn't want them to be sent away. So it's always upsets me how Darlton was just treated like complete crap in the story. I love the outfit Lucius is wearing too. It's very he's got good swag going. But yeah, it's really upsetting. This is the episode with the infamous table scene. My God. Who knew that a simple scene of Nina having her way with this table would become the most infamous thing in Code Geass history? I mean, like I said for 1,000 times now in every video where I discuss this topic, I never once thought about it. I know some people watch the show and didn't even realize it even happened. I think people made a huge deal out of it because they couldn't understand why a girl would do this. I'm not going to go into details about that specific topic. I've actually already done the video previously, but I don't know. I just maybe it's the fact that it was placed randomly between the Black Knights having their little squabble about how Zero doesn't tell them anything about their secrets. But at the same time, though, I don't know. It is funny though. It is funny how like Nelly walks in. She's like, "Are you okay, Nina?" Because she was making noises, obviously. And Nelly doesn't understand what's happening. And of course, lucky for Nina, the blind girl comes in. Imagine anyone else coming into this scene watching Nina. Ooh, not a good time for anybody. It's not a good moment when anyone's caught. Having personal time. I don't know why Nina couldn't have done this at home where the privacy. I'm not sure where she even lived. I assume a house, right? Only loose or a dormitory, I imagine. So why didn't she couldn't do it in her dorm room is beyond me. That's part I never understood. I mean, did you not have tables in her room? I guess if it was to overanalyze this, that's my only critique about the scene is that why it was done in the school, the clubhouse, or the what do they call it, the student council room. Why did you do that there? Maybe the show was trying to be edgy with this scene, but yeah, I don't know. There's, I mean, I also say like I think the purpose behind the scene too was to show that she really likes Euphemia. We saw earlier on that she did, but she's simply expressing how she feels. I mean, usually when someone's a crush on somebody, I mean, I'm not gonna say the next phrase, but they usually tend to, you fill in the rest. So I don't know. Maybe showing it was kind of weird, but again, it's like a couple seconds and it goes away. I love comments ripping on it though. It's pretty funny. Okay, anyways, now that we're enough of that, I believe. Now there's one part in this that I made note of it and I was kind of confused, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when they meet with Taizo Kirihara, he basically says like I can't trust you guys, take off the mask, implying Zero should take his mask off. But here's the weird part, okay? Ogi and C2, remember this is C2, right? It's not Lelouch. The height between the two of them is kind of off here because C2, if you guys didn't know, I'll search right here in case you're wondering. C2 is 5'6". So if just in case you want any confirmation about that. So C2 is 5'6". Says right. Where is it? Yeah, 5'6". Ogi is 6'2", I believe. Would be 6'2", 6'1". Okay, and the Lelouch is 5'10". It's always kind of bothered me. Like there are times they have the swaps. It never really was an issue, but the reason why is in this case is because the height actually kind of gave it away. It wasn't Zero. Yeah, he is approximately 5'10". Now, if they were in on this, it wouldn't have been a big deal because obviously, right, they planned out to know that even though the height difference would be weird, they would be aware of it. But they didn't know that was actually C2 the whole time. So it's kind of bizarre to me. And what's weird is that now C2, like if you go further in the episode, yeah, now C2 is way shorter than Ogi. But before, again, this is a really minor nitpick, but I was just like, observing this. But here, they were, where is it? Yeah, they were on the same height here. same height here, and then later on, she's clearly not the same height. I guess Ogi or any other Black Knight members didn't notice the fact that the height difference between C2 and Luch was like 5 inches. It's kind of weird. Again, not a big deal, but like, wait a minute, how did they? Is what it is. Then Lelouch, of course, talks to Taizo Kirihara, shows his face, and one thing I will definitely give the movie's credit is that they fixed the weirdness about the scene where, so when he's talking to him here, everyone else can, maybe they can't see his face, but they can definitely hear him. And in case of Colin, I mean, you can literally see the back of his head. So you recognize the hair color. What I liked better was that in the film, the recap film, they're talking privately. So they're in one room here. Like, see, they're here, and they're completely separated. And I like this better because it limits the whole possibility of like, couldn't they have overheard this or seen the back of his head? In either case, this scene was not the. It had some issues. I definitely would agree, and the film definitely fixed that part.